Manchester United visit Brighton to kick off the Premier League's weekend slate. No surprise, United installed as favorites, despite the fact they're away from home. For more, we welcome in Don Hutchison and Shaka Hislop. Don, I'll start with you because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer could be looking at a big lineup decision in that match. Donny van de Beek didn't start the opener against Palace, but he comes on and scores. Then he turns in a man-of-the-match performance in the Carabao Cup midweek. Is it time to move him into the 11? And if you do, Don, who are you taking out?
Great question, because they've got so many good players in there, Seb. It might even be time for Nemanja Matic to come back in that midfield, because the balance just doesn't seem right at the moment. It's okay on paper when you put Bruno Fernandes, you put Paul Pogba, and then add Donny van de Beek. It looks great, but the balance is not there. I would definitely play him. I think he's a kid that's confident. He's got momentum. He certainly knows where the back of the net is. And it might be a time, even though we're a couple of games in, for maybe Paul Pogba to take a break, because his performance, along with a lot of others against Crystal Palace, weren't good enough.
Shaka, it was the question that everybody asked when they signed this guy. Do they really need him? He's certainly played well. You could say earned the start. Do you think he should get it on the weekend?
Well, whether they needed him or not, I still think he's an improvement in that squad, and he adds value to it. Given what we've seen from him, both against Palace when he came on, in what I described as easily the worst performance by any club of the top 6 or top 8 in the Premier League. And then you saw his performance in midweek, albeit again against lower league opposition, the Carabao Cup. You have to play him. He has been your big signing this summer. He has been the best player in the early start to this season. And you've got to reward that with a start. Somebody's got to make room, but Van de Beek has got to play.
Shaka, who should make room then? Do you agree with Don? Should it be Pogba?
I still, it very well could be. I'm not sure, again, how you leave Paul Pogba out. And I know I'm trying to quickly run through the Manchester United lineup in my head. You've got the front three, Bruno Fernandes sitting just behind, Pogba, Van de Beek. Who am I missing?
Against Crystal Palace, the kind of central three was Bruno Fernandes, Pogba, and McTominay behind them.
Oh, it's got to be McTominay then.
Is that enough balance? That's what Don just points out. Can you really throw those three guys in there and expect them to cover a back line that is not great?
I think you have to. At this point, Manchester United, given what we saw from them back end of last season and how good they were going forward, and though the statistics say differently, I still feel they need a reshuffling at the back, and maybe again to the initial question, that's where it was better addressed. But you've got to have your firepower on the pitch. I don't see how you leave who has been your best player so far out, who is potentially your biggest the biggest name star in your squad, and Bruno Fernandes, who's come and all of a sudden made Manchester United a top 4 team. They've got to play, and you've got to take the chance with the balance. Whether you then instruct an otherwise back 4 that seems a little bit without direction to play higher up the park, to keep it more compact with the midfield, and hope that you get the protection by just virtue of your numbers. Maybe that's the approach that Ole needs to be working on the training ground. But otherwise, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how you justify leaving out Bruno Fernandes, Van de Beek, or Paul Pogba.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.